So, I finally played Resistance Fall of Man on the PS3. I had the game for a little bit of time, but I was focusing on my PS4 for essentially the last year. But I went back to my PS3 and I'm going to play some of the games I did not play back in the day because I had an Xbox 360. Got the PS3 essentially 2010, 2011 time frame. I didn't play it a whole lot. I played some here and there, but things, doing other things, life gets in the way, things of that nature. But over the last few years, I've been getting back into gaming, essentially console gaming. And you can say the early 2010s, I was playing I guess you could say iPhone, Android, kind of little basic games that didn't require a lot of effort, time, and commitment. You can just pick up and play. But anyways, I recently played Resistance Fall of Man. Visually speaking, it kind of looks like a PS2 game, and that's been the sentiment around it. A PS2 game that's been, I would say, upscale. Some textures do look good, but it kind of looks like the remaster of God of War that was on the PS3. So it kind of looks like that, but with a little more detail and a little more substance to the textures. But anyway, I want to say it's a good game. Right before I played Resistance, I played the Crysis Trilogy Remastered on PS4. And so far, based on Resistance 1, Fall of Man, I actually enjoyed this game better, especially from a storyline perspective. I think you get more substance in terms of things that you discover during the game, in terms of intel. I like the way they have narration. And the character acting is mediocre. It's kind of bland. I put it below Crysis in terms of that, but it's easier to follow along with the story. And Resistance is essentially man versus this alien kind of thing going on. So it's similar to Crysis in that regard. Visually speaking, it looks kind of grayish, brown, dull kind of thing going on. You get used to it after a while. I mean, it is what it is. In terms of gameplay, I played it on medium. Took me about, I guess you could say about 12 hours to complete. And that counts for me dying at the beginning as I got used to the game, and dying a little more towards the end as the difficulty and the speed of enemies increased. Some people say it's a really hard, cheap game. I played it on medium. I think you just have to be cognizant of how you're maneuvering through the game in terms of, hey, shoot, like stick and move, shoot, you might got to fall back, use the objects around you because they kind of set up that way. Don't forget to crouch here and there. So you don't want to just stand there and shoot. You want to shoot near cover. And if you're out there in the open, you want to shoot while moving. You move to the left and the enemy starts hitting you that way, jerk back to the right and back up a little bit and start shooting at the enemy, or try to even circle around the enemy. But you kind of want to stay moving if you're out there in the open. If you have a chance to cover, definitely use it, especially when you're going against bosses. If you can move around, use cover, shoot, duck behind the cover, move another direction, and so forth and so on. I picked it up after probably about, I don't know, maybe even 15 to 30 minutes. And that's because I got done playing Crysis, and, well, Crysis is a little bit different, especially Crysis 1. You kind of more stealth, and you really can't even be as head-on as you are with Resistance. So it was kind of a relief to play Resistance where I could be more of a action-oriented type of person, kind of like I was playing the Quakes in the Unreal tournaments back in the day, or the Team Fortress Classics, things of that nature. So yeah, I think it's a good game. It came out in 2006, the year before Crysis. I enjoyed this game, and I look forward to playing 2 and 3, and I do have 2 and 3 as well. I heard Resistance 2 wasn't as good according to reviews, but hey, you know what? People had complaints about Resistance Fall of Man, and I'm like, it's not too bad, and I played it on medium, so if I played on hard difficulty, I'm sure I would experience that, but people even, complain, I guess, on a medium difficulty, standard difficulty, but It is what it is. Multiplayer, I haven't engaged in that because the servers aren't up. You might be able to connect to some new type of servers nowadays, but hey, you know what? I just want to play a single player campaign, and I'll do that along with 2 and 3 as well. Now, in the future, we'll find some way to connect to the server, look it up on the internet where somebody's playing around with it. Hey, you know what? I might try it out, but I doubt that'll be newbie friendly at this point. I'm sure it's everyone that's very, very well experienced in possibly cheating to some degree. Who knows? But yes, Resistance Fall of Man, I did enjoy it. I look forward to playing the second and the third one. There's definitely room for improvement in terms of dialogue, if you will, of the actual characters, but you know, it was pretty good. Definitely say I go back to I say it's better than Crisis in terms of story. Visually, well, the Crisis Remastered trilogy looked really good, but you know, this art style direction with Resistance and the time period of going back in the day to Europe and then having the alien technology there, I think they implemented well. I love the variation of the characters in terms of the enemies, way better than Crisis, all of them to be honest about it. The weapon selection, really cool. Not room for customization, but you do get a good amount of weapon selection. I heard Resistance 2, they limit the weapon that they can carry, but you know what? Haven't played it yet. We'll see how that goes. But based on Resistance Fall of Man, I can say I want to play 2 and 3 to complete the story. I used to have a good time. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I wish I had played Resistance Fall of Man sooner. That's how I feel about it. Iceberg Gem out. Deuces.